Hello all you adorable fluff butts out there, Kitthesoulless here, and today we're going to talk about a weird and wonderful subject that's going to piss some people off and probably make others giggle. But this is one I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. Now, the topic of today's rant have noticeably been a thorn in our community's side for a while now, spouting hate in ways that make people laugh at their insecurities. That's right. We're going to be talking about Antifurs. Now, from the dedication on this video, you might have already figured it out, but we've had yet another Antifur griefing our channel a bit, and I find it amusing to no end that this individual has decided to go about it with this particular username and profile picture since, well, we all know what the Lion King series has led to within the furry community. Seriously though, people, never look up Lion King furry art with the safe search function turned off unless you have a few gallons of brain bleach ready. But I digress. Simba the Pro here is a good example of a typical Antifur, which amuses me to no end, like I said. I've had a theory about this particular community for a long time since I've watched several Antifur groups, and I've noticed something that tends to happen, but before we get into that, let's explain what an Antifur is first, shall we? From Wikifur, Antifurries, also known in polite terms as furry critics, are those individuals who find furries and the furry fandom as a whole, or in part, to be repulsive, especially any and all aspect having to do with furry sexuality. Some of them also tend to exhibit great interest in the sociology of the furry community. Now, this article goes on to explain both the concept of Antifurs who were once furries themselves, as well as those who have never been a part of the community. For the sake of this video, we'll be focusing almost entirely on the second variant here, the outsider, if you will. You know, I probably should do a video later down the line on the topic of Antifurs who were once a part of the community and became disillusioned or disgusted with the community as a whole, but that'll have to be in another rant. Now, our friend Simba here has, I assume, never been a part of the community, but probably holds an interest in it, which would explain the negative stereotypes he seems to think he can weaponize against people who are. He's also a perfect example of my theory. You see, I've been around people like this fairly often, and I've noticed an amusing phenomenon in some of the people within the Antifur community. A vast majority of them are obsessed with the concept of furry, more so than even most furries are. Among the Antifurs I've had the displeasure of encountering in my 20+ years in the community, I've noticed that a great many of them tend to use profile pictures that one might expect to see in the profile of a new or young member to our community. Simba the Pro is actually a very good example of this. Using this username and profile picture, he actually decided to come into a few of our streams lately for the sake of, in his words, raiding a furry livestream. He wasn't accompanied by anyone, he wasn't overly toxic, and it seems like he might simply be trying to rile people up, including myself. It's also worth noting that he seemed to get rather upset when he couldn't antagonize people, since a lot of people in the stream's chat were fairly polite and even welcoming of his antics. Now, the reason I personally encourage such things when people like him come into the stream or into the server to do this, is because I believe most of them are simply furries in denial. Now, this sort of conduct would actually make sense from somebody who went looking for information on our community and instead found some of the old media smear campaigns or simply found a group of Antifurs. People do seek out community and acceptance after all, and are instinctively driven to fear and even lash out at that which they don't understand. And in my time having to deal with these type of people, I've personally watched a large number of Antifurs progress from their hatred of the community and anyone in it, to curiosity and even acceptance of the fact that they themselves have an interest in being a furry. Now, I will also point out that this doesn't extend to all Antifurs, since there are a number of them out there who, to a degree, believe that their very existence is for the sake of harming others or attacking groups. It's people like these that tend to congregate in places like the old Something Awful forums, Encyclopedia Dramatica, or, more recently, sites like Kiwi Farms. It's actually part of my theory that vocal and hateful groups like these often lead to this weird dilemma in the anti-fur community. Now, like any other hate group, they go out of their way to recruit new people, be it by directly sharing their site with others through various chats, or by publicly attacking and doxing people they see as worthy targets in hopes that others will notice. A younger individual who is at odds with their own desire to become part of our community might see these and, through an attempt to hide their own interests, become something akin to an overly enthusiastic shitposter, like Simba the Pro here, who more often than not just comes off as if they're trying too hard to be edgy or offensive. Which, personally, I think is adorable, since it usually ends with those individuals stomping off in a huff, only to come back to try again, and again, and again, which often leads them to seeing the way our community functions and simply becoming more interested in it. Anyways, that's the end of our rant for today. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this particular topic, so if you want to put in your 2 cents, leave a comment down below. Anyways, until next time, Fluff Butts. Bye-bye.